Bravo bosses. This is the Bravo Investigator Podcast. I'm your host, Dana. And today on our Monday Reality Roundup, we are talking about The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Summer House, The Real Housewives of OC, The Bachelor, and McBee Dynasty. Let's get into it. Monday, everyone. I hope everyone had a great weekend. It is hot as hell here in Toronto, hence why I'm wearing a tank top, but it is what it is. I am hot. I had a really great weekend. I did a lot of what I enjoyed the most, which are, lying down, sleeping, napping, resting, eating, and TV watching. So I definitely did all of the things. And, it's Monday, but I didn't have the Sunday scaries. And I think that shows I'm in a really good place at work. And I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys because I haven't given you an update in a while. But I have a new manager who's sort of an old manager. She left before I started for some sort of extended leave. And now she's back. And I was just sort of a little bit worried about having to impress another person again. But she is so amazing, so wonderful. She has been giving me such great feedback, putting it in writing of all things. So things for me have generally been going pretty well, which feels weird. I have to be honest with you guys. Like, work is going well. I enjoy going to work. I enjoy the job. The podcast is going well. Content creating is going well. Everything is sort of in a good place. And for someone like me, or for maybe a lot of people, life has sort of been in flux for the past few years. It has been up and down, topsy-turvy, crazy. And now that things are good and calm and normal, I almost don't know what to do with that because I have gotten so used to the chaos that I sort of don't know what to do with the normalcy. And I know that sounds strange, right? Like, just be happy, Dana. But it's taking me a minute, I guess, just to sort of get used to it. I'm just like, when is the other shoe going to drop? When is something bad going to happen? Do I deserve good things to be happening to me? That's literally the thought process that I'm having. And I'm like, Dana, relish in the joy, relish in the fact that things are good because it kind of is normal for things to be a little chaotic, right? So it is going to happen again. Life is not going to always be calm and neutral. It may go back to states of flux. And I'm really just happy that I'm not in that place right now. And I need to just really enjoy it and relish in it and enjoy the fact that things are calm and normal and good and that I deserve good things. It's just really hard to accept that sometimes. So that's the place that I'm in right now. But I'm here to talk to you guys today about reality TV. I do not think this is going to be a super long episode because we have topics. We just don't have a ton to talk about. And I don't know if it's like a summer drought. I really don't know what it is, but there isn't that much going on in the reality TV zeitgeist lately. We had this a couple summers back. I don't remember if we had this last summer, but I think it's maybe normal to go through a little bit of a drought. The reality stars are on vacation, enjoying themselves, maybe in between filming times, and there just isn't a ton going on. Plus, after the whole Summer House fiasco and whatever's going on with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I feel like everyone else is just kind of taking a breather. That being said, I will mention some of the things that I'm just not talking about anymore, and that is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I can't. I think we talked about this last week where Taylor Frankie Paul was doing a million things and going to rehab and then another restraining order and all of these things and posting a million stories. And I'm just like, girl, you being on the internet this much is not making things better. It doesn't really seem like you got that much help if you're still doing this. And it's just really frustrating. I'm honestly thinking about unfollowing her. I wish her the best, but over there, because it is so in our faces all of the time that it's becoming truly, truly exhausting. So I am done with that. Something we may all be done with soon is Love Island. That is coming to an end. I'm sorry that I wasn't really recapping that very much. I was doing it here and there, but then I don't know. This just wasn't my favorite season. I'm sorry. It really wasn't. I've been keeping up. I've been watching After Sun and listening to podcasts and watching the episodes in the background, but it's not the most captivating TV, right? I'm sorry. It's not. We lost Kenzie and her clam slam and Dylan. They've gone home. Casey and TT And Parmita and Corbin, who else went home? Gall and Jen. Parmita and Corbin are apparently still together after all this time, which is crazy. And Dylan and Kenzie. But yeah, I guess that leaves us with, this is the part I actually missed. So I'm like having to like rack my brain for which couples are left. I guess we have Melanie and Sincere. We have Anaya and Carl. Oh, and we have Brinity. We want Brinity to win. That would make the most sense, right? Bryce and Trinity. And we had Family Day the other day, which was really cool and crazy to watch. Like listening to Melanie's mom and sister tell her, like, girl, you are being played. Listening to Sincere's family be like, why are you moving this way? It's like not cute to us. We don't like it, right? And then her insisting that she still wants to be with this guy. It's hard to watch, right? And we've all had a friend like that. We've all had a friend where we told her, girl, this guy is not for you. This guy is going to hurt you. And she's like, I just need to find out for myself. And there have been so many brands that have been posting about, Melanie, if you leave Sincere, we'll give you XYZ, right? Like I can't even remember the brand. JetBlue did one, right? Like we'll give you like free tickets to wherever, right? So it's crazy how America is really, really fighting for her to do something so opposite of what she wants to do, which to me shows that I think she's really, really in love with him, because you would think that a lot of these people went on this show for the publicity, not necessarily for love, and that she would do what America wants her to do so that she would maintain popularity, but she's doing what her heart is telling her to do, right? And you can't be mad about that in a way. He is awful and not sincere, but she will figure it out for herself, for sure. Okay, let's start with our first story of the day, which is sort of a continuation of last week. We're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, AnneMarie Wiley, and her soon-to-be ex-husband, Marcellus Wiley, because she has filed for divorce. Now, I am issuing a trigger warning for this section of our discussion because we will be talking about sexual assault. So as we found out over the July 4th weekend, Marcellus Wiley was arrested for domestic violence, and we weren't sure what the details were or who was involved, but then more details started to follow basically right after. So I'm going to read you guys this article from page 6. It says, according to court documents obtained by page 6, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum claimed the former NFL player has subjected her to continuing and escalating pattern of physical violence, sexual abuse, verbal and emotional abuse, financial control, and intimidation, much of which our children have witnessed. So this is AnneMarie pressing charges against Marcellus Wiley. AnneMarie, 42, said that because of her trauma she has suffered from her husband, there are many gaps in memory as I have blocked out much of what Marcellus has done to me. One incident the former Bravo star recalled took place around 2012. At the time, AnneMarie alleged that Marcellus, 51, raped her while she was intoxicated. During the same time period, he threw a food tray at my head with such force that it dented the wall, she claimed in the docs. Also, in or around 2012, Marcellus attempted to have sex with 2 of my friends in the basement of our home, crawling into bed with them in the middle of the night, the docs stated. The former reality star claimed in the docs that on January 11th, the sports analyst dragged her out of bed at 2 a.m., berated me, and hit me on the head. AnneMarie then claimed her husband raped her and told her that she was his property and she had to follow his orders. At approximately 3 o'clock a.m. the same night, Marcellus raped me again, she alleged in the docs. 2 days later, the nurse anesthetist claimed Marcellus dragged her out of bed at 3 a.m. and allegedly raped her again. In addition to the alleged sexual assaults, AnneMarie claimed Marcellus physically attacked her on numerous occasions in front of their minor kids, Marcellus Jr. 10, Aria 7, and Olivia 6. In 2014, she alleged he punched her in the face, giving her a black eye and a split lip. AnneMarie also claimed in the docs that the former Dallas Cowboys star threw a full bottle of Coca-Cola at my head when she was 9 months pregnant with her second child in 2019. Another time, AnneMarie claims Marcellus broke my right thumb as their children witnessed the act and were crying. In one incident, the mom of 3 claimed Marcellus swerved on the freeway to frighten me and threatened to drive into the median or a wall while he was driving under the influence. Marcellus also allegedly tried to control AnneMarie financially. In the docs, she claimed her husband borrowed approximately $100,000 from me and ran up approximately $100,000 in charges on my credit cards and then stopped paying them, which ruined my credit. On Sunday, Marcellus was released from Orange County Jail after posting a $1,000 cash bond. A no-contact order was issued, and Marcellus was ordered to remain at least 500 feet from AnneMarie, their marital residence, and her place of work. He has also been forbidden from communicating with his wife in any form and cannot possess any weapons. So that is extremely intense and crazy. And this is all part of like her divorce filings, because of course she is filed for divorce now. As you guys know, and as I mentioned last week, he has been accused of raping multiple other people as well. And we found out a lot of that when she was initially coming to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was a one-season wonder, and basically her name to fame was the esophagus gate that she had with Sutton. There's this thing that people say about the Real Housewives where sometimes people go on the show in order to get divorced or in order to sort of protect themselves in a way. We know that Taylor Armstrong said that in a way. She was sort of hoping that her husband would no longer harm her if all the cameras were around. And maybe that was something AnneMarie was considering. I know that there was a period of time where she was really supporting him out in the media against all of these allegations against him. And I guess it came to a point for her where enough was enough. I'm curious what that moment was for her. Obviously, it was over the July 4th weekend, and there was some sort of domestic violence incident, and that's why she's coming out with all of the information she's coming out with now. But this is why it's so important to believe people and not ask questions like, why now? Because now, okay? Because now is the moment. And now is when she feels safe to do so. And now is when she's had enough. And it's just really heartbreaking to know that her children were so actively involved in seeing this sort of violence. It's the kind of thing that possibly they'll never get over. The kind of violence that she has experienced at the hands of her own husband is also the kind of thing that she could possibly never get over and is going to take years and years of therapy to unpack, because it's so complicated to be assaulted by the person that you love the most, right? What a completely complex feeling than when you are raped or assaulted by a complete stranger. To be raped by your husband, the person who is supposed to love you, the person who is supposed to support you, the person who's supposed to nurture you. And for him to be doing this in an effort to control you and to say that you are his property just shows that this is not a partnership whatsoever. This is somebody who is in this marriage in an effort literally to control you and to have a wife to be property for him, right? And that is absolutely devastating. And it's probably something that their children have seen over the years, right? I don't even know how she's going to be able to be in relationships after this when you have been so manipulated and so controlled for such a long time. Like, you guys know that story of the woman who cut off her husband's penis, right? And it was like supposed to be like this really funny thing. But if you actually go back and watch the documentary, and yeah, there is a documentary on it, which I watched a few years back, the reason that she did it was because he had been repeatedly raping her and no one would believe her or listen to her. And that's what it literally had to come to for her to commit a freaking crime to get away from him and to stop being abused by her own freaking husband, right? So it's just so complicated. It's so fucked up. I wish her the absolute best. I'm so proud of her for coming forward, for expressing everything that's happened to her, albeit so long ago. It's so important for her to tell her entire story so that people understand how long this has been going on and how long he has literally been committing crimes. And you know, I just hope that her family finds peace and happiness and that she is able to get the help that she needs, that her children are able to get the help that they need, because this is just, it's going to be life altering. It just is. Okay, let's move on to our next topic, which is much later, and it is Summer House. So Summer House officially started filming this past weekend for season 11, and I'm really, really excited because it really seems like everyone who's going to be casted this summer is single, which is a show first, basically. And people have been posting, people from the cast have been posting like little snippets of being out there this past weekend. So we know that filming is underway. KJ and Mia were seen getting in a car to go up to the Hamptons. Jesse was seen across the street, but not going up with them. Kyle has already posted pictures out there. So is Carl. And this week on After Sun, Sierra confirmed that she is filming for Summer House season 11. She was actually on After Sun via video screen because she was in New York getting ready ready to go to the Hamptons. So this is what we have. I think the basic confirmed cast via Dumois is the following. So we have Sierra, Lindsay, Mia, Bailey, Carl, Kyle, Jesse, and KJ. And then I believe that there are 2 newbies that were also seen filming this past weekend. And I have to be honest about newbies. Like, sometimes I'm for them, sometimes I'm not. But this one year, I kind of wish there weren't any newbies just because, listen, we've been through a lot, okay? Nobody likes change, and there's just been a lot going on Summer House for the past few months. We've lost a couple characters, which we're happy to lose them. So I understand the need for newbies, and we also know that this is the transitional season, meaning that Kyle and Lindsay will probably be transitioning out, probably Carl as well after this one season. And so we do need more people. But because of everything that happened, I just sort of feel like I need a minute. I just need a minute to sort of relish in the characters I already know, the ones that I feel comfortable with. It almost feels nostalgic in a way, even though some of these people we've only known for like a year, but we've grown to love them and become so comfortable with them that I kind of just don't feel the need for newbies this year. I would feel a lot more comfortable, honestly, if we could just hang out and relish in the characters that we've gotten to know, we love, we want to see prosper. I just don't have the bandwidth, I guess, for new people, if that makes any sense. I just don't have it this year. Now, while filming was getting underway, of course, Amanda and Wes had to take this opportunity to post some photos. We never hear from them unless something is going on with somebody else in Summer House. So we see Amanda post in this green sort of lingerie looking dress, kind of lacy at the bottom, next to some horses. So it looked like she was in a farm, and people were like, oh, she's probably at West Farm. But then it was tagged as being in Montana. And then Wes posted a bunch of pictures of a bride and a groom and all this stuff. So these 2 are going to weddings left, right, and center, every weekend. So it's probably for the best that they weren't on Summer House, because it seems like they would have been away every weekend at a wedding. So, he's got a lot of friends. He's got a lot of commitments. I guess it is what it is. But I'm really excited for season 11. I think it's going to be a really good one. I really like the people that we have. I'm just really jazzed for it. Oh, and on Summer House filming news, I actually kind of forgot to mention this. Summer House is coming to Canada. Yes, it is true. There is going to be a 10-episode Summer House Canada on Hayu coming in 2027. I'm really excited about this. Now, listen, normally Canadian TV sucks, right? But with the onset of heated rivalry, I feel like people are salivating at the mouth for Canadian content. And so I think that we have the potential, right? We're cool people too. So I really hope that the show ends up being good. It's going to be about rich Torontonians who are working in the city in Toronto during the week and then going to Muskoka on the weekends. Muskoka is where Harry Hamlin often travels to get time alone from his family. So if you want to know any more about Muskoka, please reach out. I don't think I've actually ever been to Muskoka, but regardless, I'm excited about this show, and I'm excited about the fact that there's probably going to be press events and stuff like that in Toronto that I'll probably be able to go to and be boots on the ground for you guys. So really excited about that. So much Summer House news is coming. Summer should be fun, whether it's in the US or Canada. And I think Summer House and any spinoff of it really, truly is our Bravo future. Okay, let's move on to our next topic, which is the Real Housewives of OC. So we had our 20th season premiere last week on Thursday. It was okay. I don't think I'm going to be covering it this season, just out of lack of interest, to be honest. Plus all the stuff that happened with Katie Janela. It was sort of like a reintroductory sort of episode. We have one new housewife named Carmela. She used to be a playmate. And then we have Shannon back. We have Tamara. We have the OG of the OC, Vicky Gumbelson, of course. We have Jen Pedranti, and then Emily and Gina. And basically everyone's doing well, except I guess for Jen Pedranti, because she posted a few days ago about this fire and that her son was somehow involved. When she first posted about this fire, I thought she meant the LA fires, I don't remember the name of the fires, but the main fires that happened last January, right? That were devastating to so many people. I was like, wait, one of her children started those fires? are we serious? But it's about this Ladera Ranch fire, which apparently only happened a few days ago. And I don't even know what Ladera Ranch is, nor had I had heard of this fire. But basically, Jen posts to her stories that I would like to clear up the rumblings of my son having involvement in the Ladera Ranch fire. Didn't know there were rumblings. He and others were involved. My ex-husband and myself take this very seriously. This behavior is unacceptable, and we are deeply sorry to our community. This is a tough learning moment for our son and our family. We were so thankful there was no damaged property and nobody was hurt. The fire and police were absolutely amazing and gave these boys a lesson they will never forget. There were no arrests made, but consequences for actions are being put into place. He will be taking a fire safety course to make sure a mistake like this doesn't happen again. There are consequences within our family, and we will make sure our son learns from this accident. There was actually an article published about this from the LA Times, like about Jen Pedranti's son's involvement. And in that article, it says that Orange County Fire Authority Captain Augie Romo confirmed to the LA Times that there were 3 minors involved. They were interviewed in connection with the fire, and also confirmed that no arrests were made and that a full report will be made in 10 days. But for now, the incident remains under investigation. So to me, it seems like it is still ongoing. Now, they do also state here the names and ages of all of the kids, because to be quite honest, I don't remember, right? She has a lot of children. So she has a son, Harrison, who's 22, Dawson, 19, Grayson, 16, Dominic, 12, and then her daughter, Everly, 14. So it could have been any one of these 4 sons. I wonder if it's the one in the military. Like, which son is this? It's also interesting that no arrests were made. That's why I wonder if it was maybe one of the younger sons, like Dominic being only 12. It's kind of funny that you have to announce this to the public, but I guess that's what comes with the territory, right? Like, the funny part for me is that you have to announce that, like, you're going to basically be punishing him at home, and the ways in which you're going to be punishing him just feels very personal in a way. Like, it sucks that you just have to do that in a sense. But yeah, when this came out, I was like, all right, Jen, I mean, I guess I appreciate the accountability. It would probably be better if one of her sons actually like publicly took the accountability. But again, it could be one of the ones that's underage. So maybe that's what this is about. I'm curious if you guys are going to be watching The Real Housewives of OC and if you want me to be recapping it. I've heard from a couple people that you don't want me to be recapping it. So very curious to hear your thoughts, or if you plan on just listening to podcasts that are recapping it and don't plan to even watch it. That I understand too. But yeah, that's what's going on in the OC. All right, our next topic is The Bachelor, and this is sort of a continuation to a discussion that we have been having for a couple of weeks now, I guess, or maybe it was just this past week. But we were talking about this book that was coming out on July 7th that has now come out, called The Love Producer by Julie LaPlaca, who used to be a producer on The Bachelor. And she produced many of the contestants on The Bachelor, but most notably Peter Weber. And in the book, even though it's not the premise of the book does talk about her relationship with Peter. So basically, they had like this relationship where they apparently hooked up a couple of times. They were never in like a full-blown relationship. But the reason why this sort of took the media by storm, if you want to say, prior to the book coming out and when she was doing press and stuff, is because it sort of seemed as though she was saying that she was having this romantic relationship with Peter Weber while he was a contestant on the show, like while he was the Bachelor, while he was picking other women. And the problem with that, despite the fact that like he's there for the other women and not for you, is the fact that it's almost like an HR issue, because she works for the show. Her job as a producer is to be so integrally involved in the lead's life to the point where like you're their eyes and ears, you're their everything. And so they are so engrossed in everything that you're saying and doing that there is really the possibility of being manipulated, I guess. And Nick Viall really took issue with this because he thought it was really disgusting for this woman to exploit Peter in general, because again, it's like an HR issue, and then to exploit him in the book when he specifically asked her not to write the book. So I have not read the book. The book has now come out. It's my understanding from the book that it seems like they only hooked up twice and that the Peter part of the book isn't the majority of the book. Regardless, it is what was used to market the book. It also has come out that the times that they hooked up or anything that happened between them happened while the show was airing, not while it was filming. So I guess you could argue that, she didn't breach anything because the show was already done filming. But I mean, like, there are so many aspects of it where you are still so involved, right? There's so much that happens after production, like after the final rose, and things go on for weeks and weeks and weeks after the show actually finishes airing. She has spoken on other podcasts. Like, I listened to her on Ashley I's podcast, and, in response to what Peter has said, where he said he didn't want her to write the book, she said that she spoke to him for hours and hours about this. She offered him a lawyer to look at it or something like that. But at the end of the day, she says that this is her story, and it doesn't really matter if he doesn't want her to tell it. It's her story to tell. She also doesn't think that she groomed him in any way, which is what Nick Viall was saying. Now, since the book has also come out, Peter has made another statement to TMZ. So I'm going to read that to you guys. So this article from TMZ is called "The Bachelor alum Peter Weber hits back at former producer's hookup bombshell." It says Peter Weber is firing back after former Bachelor producer Julie LaPlaca claimed in her new memoir the two hooked up while his season was still airing, telling TMZ he's deeply disappointed she chose to publicly reveal what he says were private moments. Peter tells TMZ in a statement, "I just find it ironic that Julie is coming out with a book about finding your truth and searching for love, when the entire time I was trying to do just that on my season of The Bachelor with her as my main confidant and guide throughout the process. Her actions said otherwise." He continues, I am by no means a victim in all of this. I'm a grown man who is responsible for all of my own actions, and I know that. That being said, going through an experience like I did involved a certain level of trust being given to people I really didn't know that much about at the time. Peter says contestants are cut off from the outside world and rely heavily on producers for guidance, adding, I have a hard time understanding how Chris Harrison and Julie can both endorse this type of book when they know how badly they let me down. For instance, Peter alleges Julie got in a very stern argument with him when he was going to give contestant Hannah Ann Sluss a rose to meet his family for the home down dates, and warned him America would laugh at him. He tells TMZ, you can imagine the confusion and lack of self-trust I felt in that moment. A few weeks later, when Peter was getting ready to propose to Hannah Ann, he claims Julie and Chris blatantly lied to him that she was having second thoughts in order to get a reaction out of him, and he later learned Hannah had never had such uncertain feelings. He also claims he spoke with Julie for about 90 minutes before the memoir was published, repeatedly asking her not to include his name or reveal off-camera details about their relationship. Peter tells us to have her laugh in my face while I was very vulnerably expressing my reasons for wanting to be left out of this book was unforgivable. And yes, she knows I have the conversation recorded. He wraps up a more reflective note saying he's grateful for his experience on The Bachelor and is in a really good place in his life today. And he hopes Julie finds the love that we all deserve. Julie, who was Peter's main Bachelor producer, claimed in The Love Producer that she and Peter's friendship turned romantic in early 2020 after his engagement to Hannah Ann ended, alleging that they hooked up while his season was still airing and again after his brief reconciliation with Maddie Pruitt. She also alleged they went to bed together just days before Peter rekindled things with Kelly Flanagan, who placed fifth on his season and went on to date him on and off after the show. Rumors about the pair swirled for years after they were spotted together in Chicago, both publicly denying that they were both romantically involved at the time. I don't know, you guys. Like, I struggle with this one, right? And I guess there doesn't have to be a right or wrong, a yes or no. I just sort of, I think if somebody is telling you specifically, like, it's going to really hurt me if you put this information in print, I wonder why it was so necessary, because I do understand that this is a book about her life. But if she only had these couple of hookups with him, like, was it necessary? But then I guess maybe those hookups were sort of integral to her finding herself and figuring out who she is now and all of that. Like, I don't really know. I didn't read the book, but I don't know. It is interesting to hear him talk about the manipulation, because I think that's something we're all aware of that happens on The Bachelor. And so I do understand his point about being like, hey, you guys are well aware that you manipulated me in so many ways. And so you could have at least done me the solid and not, I don't know, talk about me in a book. I get him in that sense, right? I also think this woman is weird, okay? She's very woo-woo and doesn't really seem to take anything I don't know. It just sort of, she speaks in sort of rhymes and riddles and like spirituality. And listen, I'm all here for spirituality and stuff like that. It's just she gives someone who is not quite there and someone who is sort of living in the clouds, if that makes sense. Like she's not the kind of person where I'd be like, okay, I really want to read this book so I can become like this woman or figure out how this woman was able to achieve what she has achieved. If anything, it kind of made me not want to read the book because all of the press that she's done has given me like single white female vibes, quite frankly, right? So I don't know. Those are all of my thoughts, I guess, on The Bachelor. I don't know if there will be any more that comes out about this. Probably not now that she has released the book. There has been several podcasts about it now, so it's probably over. But, you know, it's funny because I haven't watched The Bachelor in years, but there's still so much interesting tea that comes out of it. Like, I mean, the show is like more 20 something years in the making. I don't even really know. And like, there's been so many contestants and I did watch it for so many years. So when people's stories come out from years later about things that I didn't know about, I'm still very intrigued because I still felt like, you know, I went on the Bachelor journey with these people so many years ago. Like if Trista and Ryan, the very first Bachelorette, if they were to ever get divorced, I would be devastated. Like that's like life altering when that was something that was like such a big deal back then, right? It doesn't matter that I don't watch Bachelor now. They are Bachelor royalty if you sort of think about it. So I hope that never happens. But if it did, I will be reporting it here. Okay, let's get into our last topic of the day, which is McBee Dynasty. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you do not watch this show. I do watch the show because I find it honestly so entertaining, despite the fact that I do not support the McBees or Steve McBee because I think he's a piece of shit. But I still find the show like really, really entertaining, right? It's just about like bumbling idiot cowboys who are constantly in financial ruin and constantly trying to figure that out. And the women on the show are so hilarious. Like Galena is like, if you guys don't know who Galena is, you have to start watching this show. Galena was the mistress of like the main dad, McBee, and now she sort of runs their business. But the main dad, McBee, like Steve Sr., who is now like in jail, like there's just so much going on with this family. But the main guy, he had cheated on Galena with like this other Russian woman who was friends with Galena, and Galena calls that woman prostituta all the time. Like it's glorious, glorious television. But that being said, there is a lot of drama going on online in the McBee Dynasty. And basically, this kind of all started before the show aired. It started with Steve McBee, who was dating this girl, Allie Eklund, who's basically like a try-on model, I guess. She's like an Instagram influencer. She tries on clothes for a living. And we saw them dating online. And then she went to, I believe, Stagecoach, and he starts berating her with all of these text messages. And I know this because this all ended up becoming online about her cheating on him. And he's calling her a slut and a whore and all of these really, really disgusting words. So she ends up breaking up with him. That being said, when the show airs, she's on the show because this was all last year and prior to this incident happening and prior to them breaking up. So I guess in an effort to save the McBee's reputation, Mama McBee, Christy McBee, has been kind of coming for Allie Eklund online and saying things like, oh, she was a paid actress and she demanded money for the show and released all of these text messages to try to prove it. But Allie's response was like, well, that's a good thing, right? Like my manager was trying to get me money to be on the show and she was doing her job. Good for her. And then some information came out that Allie was apparently making more money than some of the other women on McBee Dynasty. So there's two other women. There's another Allie and Casey. Allie and Casey are married or girlfriends or fiancés to two of the other McBee brothers. And so information basically came out that Allie had bargained for more money than the other Allie and Casey. And basically something came up in the comments where Casey didn't know that. And so she made a comment. This was on All About the Real Housewives Instagram account. Casey said, interesting. I had no idea how much she was making, but I do remember she wouldn't fly out to Kansas City to visit him/film until her contract was signed. Steven and her manager had to fight for her to get paid whatever she or her manager was asking for. Steven was threatening to quit the show if they did not meet that number for her. All of this was before they even had their first kiss. which is crazy, right? Like, and not, I don't even necessarily mean on her. I mean, like, Steve, like, you know, you've never been met this woman. If you watch the show, it is very weird. Like when he flies her out there, they have not even kissed yet. So they don't even have an established relationship in any way. But he flies her out there and then basically asks her to move in immediately. It's kind of nuts. So I feel like you kind of got to take some ownership, right? Like if this girl is fighting so hard to get money to be on the show, to make more money than other people on the show, and you haven't even kissed yet, do you still want her to come? Right? Like take that ownership and that accountability, right? Like, and then don't be appalled that she's money hungry, right? Like it's just sort of wild. And so to try to like fire back in terms of like the text messages that he sent her, you did wrong, okay, sir? You don't call anyone a whore or a slut or a bitch or any of these things. But his mother is trying to sort of circumvent that by making Allie look like, oh, she's like this money hungry, you know, fame whore. And that therefore makes it okay that my son spoke to her that way. And no, it doesn't. Then something else kind of crazy came out. So there was this video that was posted of Casey from the show. And Calla Mack ends up responding to this post. Calla is Steve McBee's ex-girlfriend who was on last season of McBee Dynasty, okay? This is actually kind of wild. So Casey writes in this comment, or in this video of Casey, she says, I was always nice to Casey. She's just mad I told everyone her secret about being pregnant. She said it was cold, but it wasn't. Got an abortion at 5 months pregnant because Christy got a paternity test and it wasn't his. Please keep talking shit so I can feel better about spilling everything. Keep holding off too long out of respect, but y'all can't keep my name out of your mouth. Holy shit. That is crazy. That is crazy. I don't even know what to say about that, right? Like, Calla is a lot of things. She is emotional. She is a loudmouth. I don't know if she's a liar. I really don't, right? Like, we only get these small snippets of people from reality TV, and that's basically what she's responding to. I think she was responding to Casey saying something in a video about like, oh, Steven's ex was this and that. Steven's ex was a bitch. We didn't like Steven's ex. I don't even really remember the nature of the video, but for Calla to go that far out there and be like, oh, that abortion you got, I'm going to put that out there. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't necessarily think that that's the same level or that that's warranted. That being said, I don't really know the relationship between Calla and Casey. That being said, Calla was always the type to be like, I have a secret and I'm going to ruin your life with it. She definitely did try to do that last season. So yeah, maybe this is in Calla's wheelhouse to sort of be like, you're going to come for me. Well, I'm going to come for you. And that can get really dangerous and really bad. I really thought we had heard the last from Calla because she's not related to this family anymore. She has no involvement. But because Steve started dating someone that looked pretty much exactly like her, it was weird, and it did come up on the show this season. And I don't know, man, I just would not have said something like that. It's really harsh and really aggressive to talk about like someone's abortion that they didn't consent to you talking about like on the internet. That's really fucked up. So definitely not Team Calla on that one. All right, you guys, that is the end of the episode today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please remember that I have another podcast called All You Need Is You. It is a podcast about living your best solo life. You can download it wherever you get your podcasts. I have also linked it in the show notes. I did an episode this past weekend with someone who is a pet grief counselor and social worker, and we talked about how she's living her best auntie life. So it was a really fun episode. I implore you guys to check it out. But in terms of the Bravo Investigator, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at The Bravo Investigator. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Facebook group, and I love you, BBs. I will see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Bravo Investigator podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at The Bravo Investigator. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and join the Facebook page. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a 5-star review.